Phoenix Rentals is on the #1 barrel. They offer a wide variety of rental equipment. Evan Solman, another great fan favorite. His outriders will be Dustin Gorston, Chance Fagan. Kelly Sutherland with Rory Jarvis and Casey Knight. Doug Irvine with Chance Flad and Quade Tournier. Colt Cosgrave with his brother Chad Cosgrave and Rio King guides them in to that #4 barrel. Colt's grandpa, Bobby Cosgrave, his great-great-uncle Dale Flatt, his grandpa Ronnie Glass, his great-great-grandfather Tom Lauder, all champions here. Colt's days are coming. B&R Eccles, Doug Irvine is in. Kelly Sutherland, Red Deer Motors on 2, and Evan Solman, Phoenix Rentals on 1. Heat 8. Don't be late. Horn sounds, and the charge is a quick one for Doug Irvine, B&R Eccles, and Colt Cosgrave from the outside. Kelly Sutherland and Evan Solman. Look at this, 4 wagons across the track. The spoke dance begins as they bang a little steel, a little hub crash in there with Phoenix Rentals and Evan Solman and Kelly Sutherland. Red Deer Motors as they fly into the backstretch run away from the sun. Evan Solman getting down and getting dirty. Oh, you fly hard when that feather's flying beside you, and now Kelly Sutherland, Red Deer Motors, opens them up a notch in a 2-wagon race to the 3rd turn. The backfield features Doug Irvine, B&R Eccles Transport, a width off the rail with Colt Cosgrave's Polka Dots now easing in behind, racing for High River, racing with all the speed you need, but right now the lead is in the hands and the thoroughbreds of Evan Solman, Phoenix Rentals, Kelly Sutherland, Red Deer Motors coming at him from the outside. Crank up the heat, Evan Solman. Here comes the feather. Evan Solman and Kelly Sutherland at the wire. I'm thinking it's going to be a close one. It will be Kelly Sutherland by a nose. Evan Solman, Colt Cosgrave, and Doug Irvine settles for 4th in heat #8. Wow. Heat 8. Hey, let's go back and check out. Hey, we want to thank our friends at Rahr Malting Company for heat #8. Let's check out our Wrangler running times now in heat #7, a penalty-free heat 7, and a $6,000 dash for cash. Aubrey Monowillo, the birthday boy, little icing on the cake here. H&E Oilfield, 1:13.52. Jerry Bremner, MPI Oilfield, 1:13.57, only 5 100ths off the pace. Gary Gorst, W. Paderni Welding, 1:13.94. And Troy Dorchester, Team Rig and Supply, 1:16.21. I'm going to take you back about 23 years. I don't know how many of you used to travel with us out to Morris, Manitoba. We raced out there for many years at the Big M Stampede. Well, a couple, 3 weeks ago, we got a phone call from a great lady that I used to work with out in Morris. And I know many of you, including Norm and some of our judges, will remember that great lady that used to keep track of everything on paper and pencil to the detail. There was never a mistake in 27 years of handling the wagon races in Morris. And my wife Kelly and I got the pleasure of seeing her again. May Mann, all the way from Melfort, Saskatchewan. May, welcome to her first ever Ponoka Stampede, one of the stars of the Big M Stampede. May, it was quite a nice visit. I appreciate it. Doug Irvine, B&R Eccles Transport, 48 years committed to service in that state-of-the-art game. Doug and Jimmy Lou joined our tour a few years back. He won this show in 2008. Colt Cosgrave carrying on a family tradition, 4 generations deep, a Red Deer champion in years gone by, racing for High River. Come on down the week after Calgary and support those businesses that had trouble in the flood situation. Phoenix Rentals and Evan Solman, you're the one that made me think of May Mann, because I remember out in Morris, Manitoba, I used to call the pony chuckwagon races, and there was about 68 pony chuckwagons, and about 48 of them were all Solmans. Kelly Sutherland, Red Deer Motors, has done about everything in the world of driving wagons. He's carried the Olympic torch. He's kept the royal couple, hosted them, and now he's proud to bring you the proud coach of the L.A. King Stanley Cup champion hockey team. Hello, Daryl Sutter, and his wife Wanda, and son Christopher. Congratulations. He shoots, he scores. Thank you, Daryl, for putting Viking Alberta on the map. for putting the Stanley Cup in the hands of a great coach. The Sutter family got a lot of hockey fans and a rodeo fan, like a guy, a neighbor of Daryl's that we inducted into the Hall of Fame yesterday. The Stork, Lee Laskowski. And I know Daryl Sutter and Lee Laskowski have many an arm-twisting session. Congratulations to the LA Kings. Kelly putting, pardon the pun, one more feather in his hat. We're preparing for the 9th and final. You heard me if you were here last night tell you about the importance of quiet on the set. My wife gets on my case for being a little too emotional when it comes to these beautiful thoroughbreds. You've got to understand that our wagon men, and me included, love these horses beyond our imagination and your imagination as well. They are the most important thing outside of our families. The most important thing outside the life of a wagon driver is thoroughbred horses. We're not here to hurt or injure a horse or make him do anything he doesn't want to do. No different than the rodeo. We're here to salute the year of the horse. We're here to celebrate the beauty, the strength, the endurance, and the intelligence of a thoroughbred. So tonight, when we pull into Heat 9 and I ask for quiet on the set, I'm not trying to imitate Steven Spielberg or be funny. I'm asking for your assistance. We don't want anything to go amiss. We don't want any outriders to get run over, but above all, and every wagon man will tell you this, above all, please don't hurt my horses. Look at that 50-50 jackpot. Pretty near $20,000. Woo! And they're still selling them. Think about that investment. I want to do a quick little survey because as Dr. Lynn Phillips and I and Tim Edge have said all week long to each other, man, this has got to be the funnest rodeo and wagon race to work because the wagon fans, the rodeo fans have been there, done that, know what we're talking about, and we appreciate it. How many of you outstanding citizens of somewhere come from outside of the province of Alberta? Wow. Any from British Columbia? Beautiful country. How about Rider Pride? The Green Machine. Anybody east of Saskatchewan? Anybody from the Maritimes? Cool. How about the United States of America? Shoot, we can't talk about them, they're here. Anybody from right here in Ponoka? Pride of Ponoka, thank you for being a part of our show. Has anybody had a Chuckwagon race or a rodeo for their very, very first time? Wow, thank you. We welcome rookies of all ages, shapes, and sizes. What's that, Normie? Oh. How many of you don't know where you're at, where you come from, and don't give a darn? I thought so. Wherever you're at, enjoy a Budweiser. King of the Beers, if you're over 18, they're our title sponsor as well, along with Alberta Premium, Canadian Rye Whiskey, available at your favorite liquor outlet. Thank you, Norm Little. Oh, they're parking the big JDs, the big service equipment tractors. The 9th and final. The Tommy Dorchester $50,000 Dash for Cash. The ATB Financial Bronze. Trophy buckles. And we'll do all the presentations to our champion driver and his outriders after the bareback riding in our showdown round of rodeo. A quick thanks to Oris Communications as well, who are part of our Rocky Mountain Equipment Tour and the communications division, for all our judging staff as well. So the stage is set. The stage is set. Tommy Dorchester's career started way back in the 50s and 60s out of Rimby country. Tom Dorchester was mentor to many a wagon driver, namely his sons, Dallas and Gary, Dennis and Gordy, all wagon men, all racehorse people. And now Troy Dorchester has made his mark on the track as well, right here in Ponoka. Someday, his son, Connor Dorchester, we hope, will take up the lines. This year's poster was sketched by Bernie Brown and sold at the art auction. A picture of Dallas Dorchester in one of his many great driving photos. And tonight, we pay tribute to the Dorchester dynasty. We have Gary Dorchester as our honorary president, the 1968 world champion of wagon racing, the same year that Gary and Donna, his wife, won the Calgary Stampede. Tonight, we bring you the 4 fastest wagons of the week. We bring you the best outriders to the game, and we bring your cooperation in the aforementioned speech I made. On the number 4 barrel is a young man in his late 50s whose career started back in the mid-70s. He retired a bit in the early 90s, and 11 years ago he came back. You talk about being the bridesmaid. For the last 2 years in a row, he has been reserve world champion, just points away from getting that all-important world title. EMCO Corporation, Canada's largest distributor of construction supplies, have been with him for a long time. I'm talking about Captain Kirk Sutherland. He'll come off the number 4 barrel for the Grand Prairie Skinner with 9 show championships in his credit, his newest one in Saskatoon just a few weeks ago. And off the number 3 barrel, Parkland Fertilizer, the ultimate agricultural service. Chad Hardin knows the feeling of winning the Ponoka Stampede, both as a thoroughbred chuckwagon driver and as a pony chuckwagon champion as well. Chad will be on that number 3 barrel, and thanks to Parkland Fertilizer. On the number 2 barrel, AIC Construction. Art and Helen Kohanic got involved in chuckwagon racing about 15 or 20 years ago. They specialize in professional, efficient utility installation. They're safety certified, they're bonded. I want to tell you a little bit about Art Kohanic and Helen and AIC Construction. You see, they pretty much are the company that put a lot of the substructure utilities into High River over the past several years before the flood hit. And now, with the whole change up to High River, AIC Construction is once again the contractor of choice for that town of High River when it comes to rebuilding that town. They will be on the number 2 barrel. On the number 1 barrel will be Birchcliff Energy, the fastest growing, environmentally friendly oil field and gas exploration, production, and marketing company. It got its start by some folks that have been involved in chuckwagon racing for many, many years. I'm not going to mention their names, they wouldn't want me to. But they have been, huge supporters of the sport of chuckwagon racing. Their roots are in the West. You'll find them on the Toronto Stock Exchange under BIR. Might be a good investment. They know what they're up to. Let's get back to AIC Construction and meet their competitor off the number 2 barrel. Kurt Bensmiller, an all-star hockey player and Allen Cup champion. His father, Buddy Bensmiller, looking over his right shoulder, has won this show twice in his career. Kurt Bensmiller, and a clean shot, could carry on that Bensmiller tradition in the Ponoka Championship Division. He and Ashley live up in that Dewberry country, and Kurt is in his 16th year on the tour. Jason Glass is the only guy in this last final race. He's been a champion here, but the only guy that represents 4 generations of champions as he takes his practice turn on the 1 barrel, last year's Calgary Stampede champion. You see his father, Tom Glass, 4 times a victor here in the 70s right through to the early 90s. His grandpa, Ronnie Glass, a 5-time champion in the early 40s right through to the late 50s. And his great-grandfather, Tom Lauder, won this show in 1940. Lefty Hart and I were not here that year. Nope, not even close. I'm thinking. That's your lineup as we bring them in with Emco Corporation, Kirk Sutherland leading the parade to the barrels. The Red Deer Motors PV Mart Word King barrels. Emco Corporation. Kirk Sutherland already a win under his belt this year in Saskatoon. Parkland Fertilizers, Chad Harden. No wins this year, but maybe one a-coming. He's won here before. AIC Construction, Kurt Bensmiller, and Birchcliff Energy's Jason Glass. Heat 9 is in line, quiet on the set. There's the horn and the Tommy Dorchester $50,000 dash for cash is westbound and down as Kirk Sutherland Emco Corporation cranks him up a notch and heads for the early lead. Kurt Bensmiller, AIC Construction right on his stove rack, and Jason Glass desperately hanging on to that rail with Birchcliff Energy. Chad Harden, Parkland Fertilizer growing some speed as he flies down the backstretch, but it's Captain Kirk and Emco out in front of the pack by 2.5, and now Jason Glass putting on the pressure from the inside on Kurt Bensmiller and AIC Construction. Chad Harden and Parkland Fertilizer closing ground. One outrider's going to be awfully far behind the pack, and here they head for the home stretch drive. Kurt Bensmiller, I should say Kirk Sutherland, Emco Corporation. Look at him fly to the wire tonight, but he's got problems he don't know about. Here comes Kurt Bensmiller in hot pursuit with Jason Glass in behind, and Chad Harden closing ground at the wire. It is Kirk Sutherland, Emco, Kurt Bensmiller, AIC right there. Oh, Chad Harden and nose ahead of Jason Glass and Birchcliff Energy as he rolls across the wire in heat number 9, the Tommy Dorchester dash for cash. In the meantime, and I know you all seen what I seen, but I'm leaving it all up to the judges. Here's your Wrangler wrap-up of heat number 8. They tell me it's under inquiry. Wrangler running times heat 8. Kelly Sutherland, Red Deer Motors, 1:14.08. Evan Solman to Phoenix Rentals, 1:14.13. Colt Cosgrave racing for High River, 1:15.78. And Doug Irvine, B&R Eccles Transport, 1:16.70. A heat that's under inquiry. You can catch it online on our website, halfmileofhell.com or WPCA.com later on tonight for those final results. We will, however, be crowning a champion.